Yo, what up? It's your boy, DJ BB Khan. Back at it again with some Twitch sings for your ass.
I do not even say that.
Well, now you do.
What's up, y'all? How's it going, homegirl?
It's okay.
How was your day?
It's a day off.
It's been a minute, hasn't it?
It's been a long time since we watched the movie.
Yeah. What's the last movie we saw?
Spider-Man?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Am I
Right, Spider-Man, Homecoming.
Yeah.
Okay, so what did we see today?
Today we watched Quentin Tarantino show us how much he likes feet.
He likes girls in their bare feet. And he likes the same actors for
Yeah.
everything.
It's kind of like, who else is like that? Tim Burton?
Yeah, Tim Burton's like that. Antoine Fuqua, maybe, I don't know.
That
Anyway, so what did you think of the Homegirl film?
is. It's just a movie about nothing. Aren't his movies most like kind of just about nothing?
Well, like, if you want to like look at the film with a critical eye, you have to kind of sort of discern what do you think he was trying to say in the film.
Wow. I'm Daniel and I take college classes.
Excuse me, I went to film school. I have been in the game for 10 years making rap tunes.
Does it remind you of LA life and also movie or film life?
I mean, no, this was the freaking 60s, early 70s.
Yeah, weren't you there?
Yeah, ha ha ha.
No, that's alright. It makes me want to like read up on like all the subplots. Because it's like elements of things that were actually happening at that time.
Right.
So like reading about like Sharon Tate or like, well, just that, like all the Manson.
Spoilers!
Oh, sorry.
I'm just kidding. Yeah. Well, anyway,
Manson
it does happen
family.
a lot parallels alongside like the Manson family murders.
Yeah.
I don't know if like this guy was an actual actor. I doubt it. Leonardo DiCaprio's character. Yeah, I'd have to read up more on that stuff, but it's kind of interesting the approach that they made. But what if you had to derive a meaning out of this film, or like a message that was trying to be conveyed?
Well, I was telling you how it reminds me of wrestling and how like people, or it's the entertainment industry where like there's an average shelf life of people, and you have to be, like we hear it. Well, you say it a lot about different things. Where like if we were younger, then this would be you would be a professional e-gamer or whatever. But like in wrestling, it's like you well, the part where like he's talking to
Al Pacino.
yeah, and like he's like, you're just a character that's like putting the new guy over. Like that's very what it is. Like
you were the guy of yesterday, and now the guys of today.
You have to.
I like making their names.
So your job is to make them look good. Yeah, it's very that.
Yeah, and that kind of like affects Leonardo DiCaprio's character. To the point where he feels like he's like being washed up, and his career is at like a crossroads, and then Brad Pitt's character is kind of interesting. That's part of it is like, where the heck, like, how did he learn kung fu? I read that like Bruce Lee's daughter didn't like the way he was depicted in this film.
Well, I'm curious about like what people have to say about the portrayals of other people. Doesn't Tentin Quarantino do a cameo in all his movies?
Or
was he the narrator?
I don't know. I don't think so. It didn't sound like him. If he did, I didn't see him, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Interesting. Oh, there you go.
Well, what are some of the things that you liked about the film?
It looked like Fibbage Street.
Yeah, the aesthetic was very, like it does. A lot of times it can seem like it's over the top and comedic, and sometimes it can feel like a little understated. This is, I think it was right down the middle.
It's cool to watch those shots where they're driving around LA.
Yeah,
and it's like it's like.
That got me a little sleepy those times.
Huh?
Those got me a little sleepy.
Oh yeah.
Like the shots where they're driving.
Well, it's just like
they have like a steady cam. Like
it's like how they record. They're like, let's just pick the parts of LA that we can pull off, making look like the '60s, and how much we can get away with.
Yeah, I mean, in some situations, it makes sense. Like the first time they did it, I think was when Brad Pitt drops off Leonardo DiCaprio's character, and then Brad Pitt he drives for, it almost feels like a 3, 4, 5 minute montage of him driving. But I think it helps to show that he actually doesn't live in the nice Hollywood Hills. He lives far out there, and he lives in a trailer, and he has is a dog, and he's got he doesn't really have a.
Bless the dog. Yeah.
I think that was kind of what, if I had to guess, what the film was about, or what Tarantino's trying to say. It's kind of like how the Manson murders we know as a tragedy, and we know that's a tragedy because they killed a pregnant Sharon Tate. They killed all these other people all in the Hollywood Hills. And I mean, spoiler alert. Could you just spoil it, because most people don't really care about spoilers for this movie. So the Manson, you don't mind?
No.
Okay. You don't mind? Know what?
Just continue.
I can say a spoiler?
Yeah, say more words.
Okay. All right, fine. So in this film, the Manson murders don't happen like that. Sharon Tate doesn't die. And you're kind of expecting it by the time you realize that these hippies that are in the film are part of the Manson family and everything. You're expecting that to go down. And instead they attack Leonardo DiCaprio's and Brad Pitt's characters.
Yeah.
But anyway, I guess it's kind of trying to show that the tragedy, there's tragedies that we know, and then there's tragedies that we don't. And I think the tragedies are Leonardo DiCaprio's film career kind of going into a slump, or a guy like Brad Pitt who didn't really have any success. He was just kind of the supporting guy, and then he gets kicked to the curb once the supporting guy somehow does well or something like that. There's these smaller tragedies that don't really get noticed, and I don't know, there's probably more to it than that, but to kind of show that the tragedy we're expecting doesn't actually happen. It shows
Yeah, that's true. Or it doesn't happen yet.
What? No, because they died. I don't know.
Well, there's plenty more of them where that came from.
Well, okay. Yeah, that's fine. Anyway, bad things. What are some things you didn't like about the film, girl?
Well, I mean, at this point, I've been pretty tainted by all the news headlines I've seen about the movie. So hearing about what Bruce Lee's family said about it, or what was another article? It was they compared how much dialogue time female characters get in Quentin Tarantino's movies versus male characters.
Oh, wow.
Kind of thing.
Yeah,
Like,
that's interesting.
and like how he likes feet, and he will just put that up in there. Like,
why do you think he was showing like feet all the time?
because he likes feet.
No, I mean there's gotta
Like,
be
it's a fetish. And he's like, well, I can do whatever I want, so I'm gonna give into my fetish and record some feet.
Yeah, but I
Use it
mean,
for some,
I don't know. Like
use it for the spanka banka.
the bare feet thing is kind of a. I don't know, it's like. I don't
It's a
know.
thing.
I'd have
It's a
to.
thing.
I know it's a thing, but I mean, you have to think about like, is there an artistic reason why he chose to do that, as opposed to just like a fetish thing?
No.
Oh, you know, come on.
Yeah, I know.
Well, let's see. What are some things I didn't really like about? I guess the pacing was a little slow and for me.
Yeah.
Not that I expect like a lot of things to go on. It's just like I said. There's these drawn out montages of of the driving, and there's some scenes that occur that I'm just like, what was the purpose of this scene? There's like a narrator sort of in the film.
It's kind of weird.
Kind of jumps in and out.
I mean, it's always fun to see movies that do like filming within filming.
Yeah.
Like it's a movie
I like
about
that
people
stuff, yeah.
making a TV show.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite scenes is probably like that one where he's like he's doing that monologue, and then he flips up on the line. And,
Yeah, it took you out of what was going on.
Right.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, like and a lot of these are like really long single takes. So, you know, like Tarantino lets the actors flex and all that stuff.
And like, yeah, I mean, and then you think of like the careers of.
Did you want anything before we go home?
No.
Okay.
The careers of like Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt. Yeah, they have careers. They're doing the Hollywoods.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A lot of like interesting cameos, or not just cameos, but just like a lot of interesting castings.
That's interesting that storyline that they like hashed out, where they're like, this girl used to be engaged to this guy, but then she started going out with this guy and married him, and then but he's still around. Like it's like.
I mean, like for example, like a scene that I'm like, what is the purpose of this? Was the whole Dakota Fanning scene?
Oh yeah.
Like why did Tex? Sorry, not Tex. Why did Brad Pitt, Cliff, his character, like, what was he so obsessed with the guy that used to live on the lot? And
it made it seem like it made it seem like they killed him, and it's like.
Yeah, I know. Like there's this foreboding, like something off about their whole group.
Yeah.
But I get it. But like, there's just a lot of strange interactions, especially that whole interaction between Cliff and Dakota Fanning's character. It just kind of, I don't know, it didn't really make sense to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
Yeah. Isn't Roman Polanski like a crappy dude?
I think he got like arrested for like abuse or something, or I don't know.
That's great.
Probably.
Okay. Well.
With his Austin Powers suit.
I know, right?
Yeah, those 70s parties, like with the shots that kind of like that move in a specific programmed manner, you know what I'm talking about? You know, when it starts panning and then it goes up and then it shoots downward and you see like all the people dancing. Maybe it goes over a tree and then like then you go down into like all these other characters. You know, those are some great shots. I really like that stuff. I guess I just would have liked it like the fat trimmed a little bit. You know, that's all.
Yeah, it's pretty long.
Yeah. All right, homegirl. How many You know,
Feet.
this is bare feet. How many dirty bare feet? But this is a movie where I don't think we really saw many drugs.
Many what?
Drugs.
There's just a lot of smoking.
Yeah, a lot of smoking, but
They were doing some
usually
weed.
who did we?
When they were when Sharon Tate is in the house with her friends,
Oh,
and then
Oh,
the
yeah.
girl, the chick, the
Oh, that's
Folgers
right, that's
heiress
right.
was playing the piano.
that's right. Yeah, I don't know. I guess, yeah.
And the acid dipped cigarette.
Yeah, but you usually expect to see more drugs in like a Tarantino film. I don't know. Yeah, dirty bare feet.
7
7.
bare feet.
Yeah, I would give it also a 7. So we're both at 7.
Great.
I think, like all that focus that they paid to like Miss Folgers and Sharon Tate's friends and Sharon Tate scenes. A lot of that wasn't too necessary. IMO. I mean, they didn't even really give her like a character. She was just we were just kind of like watching her exist.
Yeah.
There was no like dynamic to her. There was no like.
But that's the thing, right? In these movies, like they'll have like kind of like 2 separate storylines that kind of come together at a point.
Perhaps.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really know.
Freaking Tentin Quarantino.
Yeah, I guess just a lot of the stuff that he did, like splicing like DiCaprio into old films and TV shows, that was cool. These are things that you don't really see too often, so
That's what I thought was
it's
going
always
on.
nice to see. All right. Anyway, y'all, I want to see it, so hopefully we'll be seeing that maybe next week. So look out for that review. Be sure to follow my Twitch, DJ Babinkahan, also Twitter. Plug yourself.
Plug myself. Yeah. I don't know. You don't need to follow me anywhere.
All right. Thanks, y'all. DJ Babinka.